Alright, this will be the second to last one we go over, and I haven't gone over it before. In hindsight, I probably should have, because I know there's a certain person that only plays this suit, so maybe it would have been helpful if I had given that one person who plays only this suit a resource to play this suit, but I don't care. We're doing it now, and you should be happy I made it for you anyway. So, this is Makube's Gouf. It is a very strong raid at its cost. It is 300 to 450. It is most relevant in between 300 and 350, and it is because it has the melee, not the melee, it has the close combat program, which means that if it's holding a melee weapon, see that thing that says weapon type melee? It has shock dampeners. It essentially has shock dampeners. This means that even if it's not boosting, as long as it's holding a weapon, it is stagger resistant. To make up for this, the suit, well, to make up for the suit doesn't have very good long-range options. We have two weapons, the heat sword and the heat rod. I want you to notice that the heat sword has a base that is like almost twice as much as the heat rod. So when I talk about multipliers later, keep in mind that even though the multiplier for the heat rod's downswing is really, really strong on paper, the base of the heat rod's downswing is really low. So the heat sword is the stronger of the two weapons all the time. One more thing to note is if you have this part, the special strength and frame type A, it is almost mandatory to have it on this suit because Makube's Gouf has 0 ballistic and 0 beam resistance, and this part right here increases both of those by 9, and going from 0 to 9 resists is a straight 9% increase in defense, as in you will take 9% less, because you previously had 0 resist, and now you have 9 resist, so it's a straight 9, as opposed to when you had some base amount and then gain more. It's a battle of diminishing returns. There's no diminishing return because you had none to begin with. If you don't have this, you can always do. You can try the the level link system armor. If you have level link system armor and equip both the level 2 weapons, you get 5 on each, so that's 5% less damage. This is a cheaper part to equip to the Makube Gouf than the other one, and it increases your melee resistance by some amount. Either of those two things are very, very good. If you don't have it, if you don't have either of these things, I have to recommend that you either put on. I don't know if you can put on this, to be honest. I guess you could, like if you really wanted to, but there are some beams in 350, but majority of the damage is coming from ballistics. So I would recommend doing ballistic armor 2 and beam res 1, or some combination of the two, because having 0 resistances sucks. It really does. And with all these Akais running around, the machine gun is going to tear through you. Anyway, enough about the build, even though it's very important that we talked about it, but let's go over the suit itself.
Ready to begin?
The suit has another couple things going for it that I didn't go over in the skill menu, but for one, it has anti-stealth level 1, which means that it's much better at finding the Akais at its cost, especially the support Akai. It has its combat program, of course, we talked about the combat program, so it has shocks while it's holding the weapon. So if you want to get away from something, walk. Do not run to that exit and stay calm. As long as you don't take a tick of build stun for, I think, 2 seconds, your counter for how much build stun you've taken will reset, and you'll go back to the 100 you need. The suit also has power accelerator, which means that if you clash with a level 2 priority enemy, you'll be able to dash away before they can, and you can hit them with your whip. That being said, the Makube's Gouf has only level 2 melee priority, which means that things like the Hygog, which have level 3 melee priority, or other things like the Zogok, which also have level 3 melee priority, they will punch through your weapon. Like, your weapon will do no damage to them. It'll just not work on them as they melee you, so be careful. we have some solutions to that we'll go over here in a bit. Let's talk about the guns. The standard Fingal Vulcan is a 6% stagger gun. It's actually not that bad, but it comes from your left hand, which means it's really, really bad at doing cornering. I have to fully expose myself if I want to shoot something with this gun, which is really bad. That being said, it is all you have when it comes to getting a really good, when it comes to finishing a stagger, or at least just getting a stagger in general. So only use this gun when the enemy is not looking at you, or you know they've already used their shot. Like say a suit used their bazooka on you, you know for a fact that they cannot use their bazooka on you again for another 5 seconds. You hold your weapon out and tank the bazooka shot, and then swap. Now that you know they can't stagger you because they're out of tools, then you can just safely go back to this. You have to be very mindful about what your enemy has used, and then determine whether it's safe to use the Finger Vulcan or not. Because while you're holding this, you cannot shoot an enemy and be stagger resistant. The moment you decide to take out the gun, you're staggerable, which is really bad. Like a bazooka will stagger me right now if I had this gun out. But at the moment I put this on, I'm not. Staggerable, not staggerable. Staggerable, not staggerable. So you want to, it's a very intentional change when you're changing your weapons like this. The full finger salvo is, I think it's 4 times 12, so it's like 48 shots, and they're all 2%. So it's, how much is this? Yeah, it gets you there. It gets you there. It doesn't get you all the way. It's like 98% or something like that, if you can hit all of them. You're not going to hit all of them, but regardless, it is a really good payout, or just a thing that you can use it to start your stagger, like on somebody. Like, see, I didn't hit all of mine here, but you can use it to start your build stone attempt, and then finish it off with a regular Vulcan. This is a really good weapon for when you don't want to fuck up your friend for going in a combo. Granted, technically your suit is the one that should be doing the melee and no one should be getting in your way, but if you can't get there in time or someone's already meleeing them, this is a really good weapon because it does a lot of damage. It does... How much does it do? It does 160 times 4 times 12. So it does like 7,000 damage raw. It does a lot of damage. It's a really powerful gun. Granted, it doesn't stagger anything, but it's a really powerful gun, and it'll really fuck up the support on the enemy team without actually having to get up to them. Granted, if you melee the support on the enemy team, they'll just die, but this will do enough damage that you're of some concern, and you don't even have to get to the opponent to do that. So, we've gone over our 2 weapons. They kind of do build stagger. Let's go over the sword. The sword has a very fast poke, which is like the Gyan's, and its downswing is the Gyan's triple swing. This is aimed really low to the ground, and because of the thinness of the heat saber, this usually damages an enemy's legs, and you can get 2 of them. So the enemy's usually taking about, well, honestly the legs are probably just going to get broken unless they're wearing the new full cloth part. The multiplier for the sword is 85 times 3, so 255 in total. Yeah, that's a lot of damage. It is everything your suit is trying to do. Bam, 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 bam. And then one more. And whatever you were fighting is probably dead. It's probably dead. Let's talk about the whip. The standard whip does not heavy stagger. Unlike other rods that heavy stagger, this one does not, and it's because it has the same property as the regular Gouf's heat rod. In exchange for not being able to heavy stagger, the Wakube's Gouf is able to do a side whip, which also staggers. This is really good. It's a melee. We're holding a melee weapon right now, and we're able to stagger enemies from a wide range and then reconfirm into our sword. So the game plan usually is build stagger with a flip Vulcan, run at them, bait a roll and then catch the roll with the whip. And now that they're out of rolls, go for the melee. So you never want to really start with the whip unless you know the suit doesn't have a dodge roll. If you know the suit has a dodge roll, you want to bait their roll first by build staggering with your gun. And then you want to catch the roll with the whip. Another thing you can do is, if you're really good, you can bait the roll and do that. The heat rod's downswing is very scary. Even I don't really understand like its hitbox. I think this will hit the high guard. Yeah, it'll hit them. It's very wide and it's unwieldy, and its downswing mod is 320, which is insane. But remember, like I said earlier, the rod's base modifier is low, so it does less damage than the sword. Now, the reason that the reason why this downswing is so important is because you can do this downswing at a range where the threats to your melee priority can't hit you. The High God would be able to downswing us and crush our aluminum sword. But because I'm using the whip, and because it's a whip, and whips don't have like traditional melee priority, as long as the whip hits them, they'll be downed. This is a really good move. This is a really good thing to use for crowd control and for getting it down. After you get the whip swing with downswing, you can dash up and get a sword downswing. So it all works out. Use the downswing when you get the jump on somebody. Don't want to build stagger them, but want to make sure that a down happens, because like I said before, this ignores melee priority, and because it results in an instant down, the enemy is not going to be able to do a dodge roll. They're already down. So this is a less efficient way of doing damage. Doing double downswing does more damage, but this is very hard to interact with. So the whip downswing to sword downswing is really good. Last thing we'll talk about is the payoff combo. If everything goes well, this is what you do. Build stagger like this, pretend the enemy rolled, do that. Hold on a second. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. Build stagger. Something like that is possible. You can do a stagger into heat rod. Be very context sensitive with your choice here when you're fighting a suit. You have to know what you're fighting, and wait until they use their instant stagger on your close combat program before you swap to your gun. Stagger them like that, and then get some form of roll catch, and triple downswing and double downswing them. All right, that's a lot of time spent on Makube's Gouf, but I think it'll do us some good.